So, welcome to Traveling with the Chair and our live show today. This is kind of not my normal time. I have a scheduled live this evening. If you haven't been to one of them, I would encourage you to come. We're going to be talking with a cruise expert, or I should say a port expert from Port Canaveral. But we got news today that is the first real news on cruising and when it's going to start since the whole coronavirus pandemic started. Carnival issued an announcement today that outlined what their startup plans are and what we can expect cancellations to look like. And I suspect that this is probably the end of the cancellations, though if depending on some of the foreign countries, there may be a few more. We'll do the bad news first, and then we'll do the good news. So the bad news is Carnival has canceled all of their North American operations with three ports accepted through the end of August. So, and that includes Australia as well. In addition to that, let me scroll down here. I want to make sure I get it accurate. All the Carnival Spirit cruises from Seattle are canceled, and the Carnival Spirit Vancouver to Honolulu cruise has been canceled, and Honolulu to Brisbane on October 6th has been canceled. All of Carnival Splendor cruises in Australia are canceled as well. We didn't get an announcement on Europe, though I kind of expect we'll see that as well. Let me rephrase that. They did cancel through August 31st, and as we get closer, then we'll start to get some startup. And for those of you that are joining me for the first time, on this channel, I help people travel better, spend less, and I provide information for people that travel with challenges. And if you haven't subscribed, please do so. And do me a favor, if you can hear me, go ahead and hit the like button so I know that you guys are picking up the audio. It looks good on my end, but I never know what it sounds like for you guys. Anyway, so let's talk now about the good news. And I say that this announcement was actually in general good news because it was specific. In the past, they've just been, well, we're canceled through this date, then we've canceled through this date. But there was never a plan to start cruising again. And for those of you that have watched some of the other episodes, I had said all along that I thought it would be August timeframe probably before we saw cruises start. And I said that we would probably see cruises start as a gradual ramp up because they have ships out of place. They've got staff that's gone home. You know, some of these countries, they may not be able to travel back from depending on the health situation. So what they announced today is that out of Galveston, starting August 1st, Carnival Dream, Carnival Freedom, and Carnival Vista will start sailing. Now, I don't think they're all three going to sail on August 1st. They haven't announced the exact schedules. I would expect to see that here fairly quickly. So out of Galveston, those of you that Galveston's a close drive to, you've got something that you can really look forward to. You're going to have three nice ships that'll be ready to sail and sailing on August 1st. Out of Miami, we got three ships too. Miami's going to have the Horizon, the Magic, and the Sensation. So now that gives us six ships, and there's actually two more ships. They're going to sail out of Port Canaveral, the Breeze and the Elation. And so starting August 1st, there's going to be a total of 8 ships that come into action for Carnival. Like I said, I don't think we know exactly what the itineraries are. I put an email into my Carnival rep just to see, so I could try to bring that to you as soon as I get it. But I think that's very encouraging news because, like I said, this is the first time we've had specific information that talks about when we're going to start traveling again. I do think, too, that this signifies what we might expect from other cruise lines. We haven't seen announcements yet. I think that both NCL and Royal Caribbean will do something very similar. They may want to wait a little bit so that they can get caught up on processing refunds, which is a big reason that the cruise lines have dealt with things the way they have. If they had canceled all of these cruises at one batch, their reservation department would have been just totally buried. So this has given them a chance to try to get caught up, and they're working on it now, trying to get caught back up on all of their cancellations and either the future cruise credit or the your refunds. And so, like I said, all the cruise lines are working as hard as they can on that. But I do think that I would not be surprised to see these types of announcements made very soon by other cruise lines. I would expect, because they're part of the, we could say the Carnival family, I would expect to see Princess and Holland America, maybe in the next couple of days. I don't have any inside information on that. But the last announcement, Carnival and Holland America and Princess were about 2 days behind the Carnival announcement. I do think that the fact that Carnival canceled the Spirit in Alaska is not necessarily good news for the Alaskan cruise season. Like I said, I am concerned that it's not going to be anywhere near what it was. We know, in fact, they've canceled a lot of cruises in Alaska, and a lot of pieces of the cruise season have already been canceled completely. It'll be interesting to see what happens with the rest of Alaska. But I do think, and okay, Bubba Bergenstein said his fingers are crossed for mid-August. Thanks, Bubba. Try to watch the chat box over there it's over on that side. But I do think that in general, there's a lot of very positive information for us, because the fact that we know that they're going to start sailing with 8 ships. My best guess is we're going to see a lot of private island time. And I think that the Bahamas may be ready to open by then. And again, these are not things that I have any definite information on, but I wouldn't be surprised to see that and to start see some of the Caribbean ports open up. I don't know that we'll see complete itineraries like we've seen in the past, where you have like a very pretty defined Western Caribbean, Eastern Caribbean, Southern Caribbean. I don't know that we'll have those available, and I think we'll start to see. I think the cruises will start out as more short cruises as well. Just from some of the feedback I've gotten, when conversations with people, I wouldn't be surprised to see a lot of short cruises in that mix, just because that way we can get a chance to get everything underway and get everybody back up to used to cruising and the ships functioning like they should. The other thing, and again, they didn't announce anything yet, but I think we'll start to see some changes in the cruise lines. I know that their cruise lines are all working with the CDC to come up with some new guidelines for boarding. We're going to start to see additional guidelines for onboard sanitation. I've talked before that I wouldn't be surprised to see the buffets become no longer self-serve, but more cafeteria style, while somebody else serves. I think that probably initially we're going to see reduced occupancy. It was interesting. I was talking to somebody today, and they said, "Yep, they think that balconies and ocean view cabins are going to be the hot commodities, and that those inside cabins may be less easy to sell." I'm hoping we're going to see some really attractive pricing in August and September. I know I would love to be able to find a really nice deal on a cruise. I'm looking forward to that, and I think that there's a good chance we're going to see that. So Joyce got her letter. She was disappointed because she was at a surprise cruise plan. Bubba over there saying he's still got an October cruise going. I'm looking at the chat box here real quickly. Hi, Sonny. Nice to have you on board. Glad you found my live too. It's nice to actually have people watch once in a while. But I think that I am so excited that we're starting to see real plans. Because like I said before, it was just vague. Well, we're going to start in July. Well, how are we going to start? What's it going to look like? Well, so now we have a plan. We know what it's going to look like, how they're going to start. And I think that what we'll see is that they'll start to ramp up from these initial 8 ships based on a couple of factors. I think that they're going to base it on demand. In other words, how many cabins can we sell? I think they're going to base it on crew staffing because they've got to get the people back. They just sent ships to the Philippines and to Indonesia, and to China, South America, to Europe to take people back home. So those people get home, they're going to want some time off, and then they're going to have to be able to be in a place that they can bring them back to the ship. So I think that's going to be a piece of how fast they can ramp back up. And then I think it will depend on port openings. I thought it was interesting that there are no West Coast ports listed in this. And I think that we will see an expansion maybe on the East Coast before we see West Coast ports open up. That's just my best estimate. I think that they could open Jacksonville fairly easily. They could, depending on, they could open Charleston fairly easy because South Carolina is opening up. So I think that we could see more traffic in that area. We might be able to see some cruises like to Bermuda. I think New York, San Francisco, San Diego, some of those places are going to be more challenging. Sonny, sorry you canceled your 2 cruises for the rest of this year. I think next year looks much better. And it's Bonnie. Bubba's your dog. I'm sorry, Bonnie. Okay. I think, Sonny, they're not trying to send sick people home. They've been evacuating them. I did see some sad news today that somebody had died off of one of Royal Caribbean's ships. Another person, I think they were on land in a hospital, but it's been a tough time for them. But I am, like I said, I'm encouraged. I'm excited that we're starting to see that you could say the light at the end of the tunnel. I'm looking forward to see what this week and next week brings from other cruise lines. I'm particularly interested to see what Alaska looks like because I had a September cruise to Alaska planned. I actually kind of would like to have a shot at going back to Alaska this year, but I'm not sure that's going to work out. So it'll all depend on how things go in Alaska. And, and part of it is Seattle's closed until further notice. Vancouver's closed till the 1st of July. So it's possible they might be able to start sailing out of Vancouver in August. But the challenge for a cruise line is that leaves them August and part of September for the real meat of the Alaska cruise season. Alaska's kind of a challenge. Yeah. Oh, they had a crew member go overboard too. I didn't hear that one, Bonnie. That's interesting. Yeah. All right. We'll see you later, Joyce. Come back. I'll be live tonight. I tell you what, Sonny, Alaska is my favorite. I was there last year. I was there about 5 or 6 years back. I had a really nice, it was actually an amazing itinerary, and it got canceled. NCL pulled that ship out of the market. But anyway, I'm glad to have you guys with me. I don't want to make this a long show. I am looking forward to it. It is exciting news. And as I get more, I'll share it with everybody. Thanks for joining. If you're watching on the replay, if you post questions in the comments, I'll come back to answer them. Thanks for watching. And again, if you haven't subscribed, please do so. I really appreciate it. And a like would be good too. Thanks. We'll see you next time.